Welcome to Branding Beyond Business. I'm your host, John Mediana. Let's get it.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of the Branding Beyond Business podcast. I'm your host, John Mediana. If we are meeting for the first time, what's good? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, welcome. Thank you. If you are listening to this on Apple iTunes or Spotify or Google or wherever, thank you for allowing me into your ear holes. So today I really want to talk about something, and I was thinking about, okay, what's the second episode going to be? And the topic, really, I could not move forward without talking about finding the fight. And that's the title of this episode. It's called Finding the Fight. When I could find the ashtray here. So this has been chill. I'm not trying to start a trend or anything like that, but the first episode, if you haven't watched that yet, go back to my channel or go back to the podcast episodes here. The first one was at Smokers Abbey, Gallatin. If you're ever in Gallatin, you have to look up Smokers Abbey. They're the homies, Josh and Josh. They're awesome. And today, I'm at the Smoky Cigar here in Hendersonville. And one thing I failed to do last episode was tell you what cigar I'm smoking. So, cigar I'm smoking is called Leather Rose. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. Leather Rose. I'm pairing that with coffee, Black Rifle coffee, not sponsored, but if you are listening, Black Rifle, hit your boy up, and I will be gladly to take on products. And there's a lot of people are like, I'll never review something I don't believe in. Valid, true. I would never do the same thing, but if you want to send me stuff, I will appreciate it, and also I won't say no, you know. So today, I don't want to make this like a thing. I just figured, it's the end of the workday. I'm gonna grab myself a cigar anyways to wind down and decompress. That's what I like to do. I spend time smoking cigars because it actually helps me slow down. I have millions of thoughts running through my head every single day. At any given moment, keeps me up at night. And I need to force myself to slow down. So what cigars does for me, it helps me calm my system down and slow me down. I'm not addicted. I don't do it every day. But when I feel like I need to really quiet my mind and my soul, I just come here or anywhere and light a cigar, slow down. It forces me to slow down and breathe. So that's why I do this. This podcast won't be, I might be at home in my office. I might be at our office. I might be at a cigar lounge. The whole point of this is that I don't care. I'm breaking the rules here. All the rules about podcasting is why I created this channel. It's an experiment. And I hope that no one's watching, but if you are, thanks for joining in on the journey. So today we are going to talk about finding the fight and why that's the most important thing to me. And I think it's the second episode that I needed to create. I got a lot of episodes in line. I have a lot of playlists that I want to create, a lot of shows I want to create. So it's not just podcasts. You'll also see other things on my channel like tech reviews and gear reviews, anything that has to take your brand beyond business, your brand beyond what you think is the day-to-day business kind of patterns and movements and processes. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about personal branding. I want to talk about marketing. I want to talk about things that I just feel like talking about because I've been in the game for 20 years and I have a lot to say. Never had a place to actually say it because I always had to button things up and I always had to present myself in a certain way, but this is my channel, so I don't care. So welcome to my channel. So today we're talking about not moving the fight, even though that's part of the men's group I'm part of. We're talking about finding the fight, first of all. This is a really important subject to me, finding the fight, because it's been a part of my life, finding the fight. I feel like most of the time of my life, I don't go looking for fights. Fights usually find me, right? Fights usually find me, whether it's because of my upbringing, because whether I was bullied as a kid, whether I was bullying myself and I was fighting myself and my worth and my value for many, many years. Ask my watch, she'll tell you. I was fighting the fight was coming to me. And if I were to tell my 10-year-old self, 20-year-old self, 30-year-old self, something to hold on to, my best advice would be literally find the fight, first of all, because when the fight comes to you, you're not prepared. When the fight comes to you, it's the last thing that you are looking to do. When the fight comes to you, it's the last thing that you're preparing yourself for. A lot of people kind of understand what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to speak in code or anything like that. Like literally, people will come to fight you. If you have any experience in life, or if you've done anything in life that's worth anything, right? They will find you. And when I say they, I mean people that don't want the best for you. They don't want to, they don't have the best interest for you. And it's not just people. I think it's circumstances as well. Circumstances will find you. Fights will find you. I remember when I was a kid, the first experience of that I encountered death my whole life when I was 3 or 4 years old. I remember this so vividly because this is the first time I ever experienced death. So I was driving. I wasn't driving. I was in a car with my mom. She was driving, and we were driving to go get some photos, produced, right? Some photos, taking it to the photo store, developed. Okay. And my grandma was with me. We used to have this really old 90, I think like 80s Mercedes Benz. We're driving down the street from our house. It was no more than 3 to 5 miles away from our house. And we pulled up, and my grandma was old. She was like 90 something. I was 3 or 4 years old, and I got out the car, and I went to go unlock my grandma's door, and I was like, oh, grandma's sleeping. I told my mom got out. I was like, Mom, hey, grandma's sleeping. We should wake her up, or we should just leave her there. I don't know. And she's like, son, like she's not sleeping. My mom was a nurse, by the way, so that's a little background. She was a nurse. She became a health inspector, but she was in the medical field. All right, so she was like, son, John, she's not sleeping. I need to call for help. So she was running through the halls of the outdoor kind of shopping area. She was like, help. Like, she's trying to find a doctor. Is there a doctor? A doctor came. Rushed to my grandma, and come to find out, he turns to us and he says, she's gone. She's gone. And I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know what death meant. I couldn't tell what death was versus sleeping and all those things at a young age. But I knew one thing. I knew that something was taken, like a life, a soul or something. It was formless. It was just like, wow, this is a surreal experience. From there, I had multiple encounters with death, even in my own personal firsthand experience of death. And as I grew up, I'll tell you these stories later, but I even fought for my life, fighting depression. In my teenage years, I attempted to commit suicide 3 times when I was 15 and 16. I was in a very dark place in my life. But why I say these stories is because if I'm going to talk about something, and if I'm going to give you any advice or anything from my experience, I want you to understand my story and the lens I look through life before you go and judging me or anything, because I know what the internet does, whatever. But the other reason why I started these things is because I got kids of my own. I got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're the most fantastic boys. the most loving and most kind and caring. And I'm doing this also because I want to give them something of a legacy. I want them to know who daddy was. And when I pass on, when I go, they could click a link and have a library of content for my kids to see and be like, that's what daddy was like. That's where I get that from. So we're talking about fighting the fight. I mentioned that fights come to you, but I would tell my 10-year-old self to go find the fight first. What does that mean? Find the fight. To me, it means that you go find what pisses you off. You go find what makes life meaningful for you. You go find your purpose, your meaning, what your desire. I think the biggest, obviously, question in life that I hear is, well, what's my purpose? What is my dreams? What is the meaning of life? Like, those are some very vague, bold questions. But I think that we all need to face those questions at one point in our life. What is the meaning of this? What is the purpose of my life? And when you're going off to find a fight or finding the fight of your life, it has to do with finding your purpose. And that's really what it translates to, is when you're fighting your fight, you got to go find your purpose. And that right there is the thing that really encompasses my whole entire life, because I'm going to go into a deep story. So if you're not ready for this, skip ahead or don't watch this at all. Whatever. You pushed play, so you're here listening. So I was adopted as a baby. And I struggled with identity my whole entire life. Up until the point I turned 18, or I was 18. I struggled with value perception. I struggled with identity perception. Nothing like, am I a boy or a girl? Nothing like that, by the way. More like identity, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I designed for? Am I a mistake? I'm a mistake. Why did they leave me? Why can't I know my parents? Who's my real parents? These are questions that I had growing up. So, by the way, I grew up in a Christian home. My parents were phenomenal. I love them, absolutely adore them. Till this day, I FaceTime them every week, and I call them. I'm like, I love you guys. That doesn't change with my adopted parents. My adopted parents absolutely was phenomenal. They raised me in such a humble way. My dad was a Vietnam vet. My mom was a nurse. And she have a lot of stories about my mom and like how they raised me and the circumstance that they had. They were immigrants coming to America, not knowing a lick of English, and still chasing after the pursuit of happiness because this incredible country allowed them an opportunity. And with that, I learned that this is an honor and a privilege to be born in America. And there's nothing short or shy of a miracle for me, because I could have been born in a third world country. I literally could have been born somewhere else, and I was supposed to be born somewhere else. And I just think about the opportunity of life, which is what scientists believe to be about 1 out of 400 trillion. 1 out of 400 trillion is the chance or the ratio of you actually being born in this moment at this time in history, out of the how many thousands of years this earth has been around, and life in itself and of its essence has been around. The chance and likelihood of you being born in this generation. I was born in the 1900s and 80s, 1980, as our intern would say. You were born in the 1900s, old fart. Thanks for reminding me. No, but the likelihood of me being born, and think about this, right? If you just close your eyes for a second and think about the likelihood of you being born, the time that you were born, the location that you were born, the likelihood of your parents meeting and not meeting, and them actually falling in love and then conceiving a child, and then their parents actually meeting, falling in love and conceiving a baby, and then their parents, and then their parents, and it just goes on and on. 1 out of 400 trillion. Now, scientists have accumulated that and kind of illustrated it a little bit. It's almost as if you had, let's just say like a football stadium. An average football stadium can fit 50 to 70,000 people. Imagine 50 football stadiums filled with people, and every single person had a trillion-sided dice. Trillion-sided dice, okay? And the chance and likelihood of you being born today, here, or in this generation now, is literally if every single person in the 50 football stadiums filled with 50 to 70,000 people, the likelihood would be all of them throwing that trillion-sided dice, and each and every person landing on the same exact number. Now, you would think it would be impossible even if they had a normal dice to fall on the same number. This is the likelihood of you actually being born today. So what does that have to do with our topic, finding the fight? You got to, at one point in your life, ask yourself, what am I fighting for? Whether you've been fighting for something for your whole entire life, whether that's a disease or complications. One of our boys, and I'll be very vulnerable. One of our boys, our oldest, Milo, he was born with an extra thumb. So he has 11 fingers, which makes that Dr. Seuss book really relevant to, and if you know what I'm talking about, go read the Dr. Seuss book, Places You Would Go, I think, or Green Eggs and Ham, I forget which one. Might be Places Where You Would Go. Go check it out. But that's a fight that he's going to have to fight at one point of his life. And obviously, before you start dropping, oh, you're such a bad parent comments, let me just tell you, me and Britt are in the fight, wrestling and praying for wisdom for us to seek help, get some help, take him to go get examined, figure out, are we going to perform surgery here? How's this going to affect his mobility? We've went through the gamut, and let me tell you, sometimes I can't sleep thinking about how he's going to grow up. And then our other fight is, because of everything that's happening in our world today, is another fight that we're fighting is homeschooling. We've been advocates for homeschooling even before we got married. So the fight today is, should we homeschool? Should we take them to private school? Should we take them to, public school? What's the fight there? So this is the absolute truth. No matter what, if you're a human being, you're going to get in a fight at one point in your life, whether it's you find it or something else finds you. And I would say finding your fight is identifying, number one, what your values are. What do you value most? Do you care about family? Do you care about freedom? Do you care about humanity, human impact? Do you care about loving people? Or do you care about money? It could go the other way. All right. Do you care about making as much money as possible and never being in poverty because there's some sort of fear that you grew up having? Do you care about, status, things, right? What is it that you value? Once you figure that out, you want to make sure that you take a look at it and be like, why do I value those things? Right? Because at the end of the day, it might be tied to your purpose. And your purpose is what you feel you were born to do. Your purpose is what you feel that you were designed to do. More specifically, what were you designed to do? What is your natural design? If you haven't found that out yet, well, welcome to the journey. Because at one point in your life, especially after COVID, after we found out, man, I don't feel like working here no more. We really got a quick dose of I want to do what I love. I want to go somewhere else. I want to make sure that I'm happy. I want to pursue happiness, right? So purpose is something that I would recommend you checking out. You figure it out on your own. The next thing that I would connect that to would be mission. What is your mission? What's your mission in life? Well, John, I don't understand. Isn't purpose, vision, mission, values, isn't that all the same? No, it's not. There's a slight difference. All right, your mission is the assignment that you're on. And missions could be seasonal. Missions could be lifelong missions. And I'm not talking about you going out and building a mission. I'm not talking about you going out to Uganda and building houses for underprivileged. I'm talking about you personally. What do you feel your assignment is? That's tied to your purpose. If your purpose is to, I don't know, maybe you love people and you want to serve communities, and your purpose is to do that. And then, your values is that you were raised in an area that doesn't have clean water, and you feel like your purpose is to get, that your purpose is to, number one, bring awareness to people that don't have water, right? And your assignment is, or your mission is to find a way to get clean water to people, because that's tied to your purpose and your values, right? And vision's a lot different. It's still the same, but different. Same, different, okay? Vision is, what do you see? What do you want to see happen? All right, that's vision. What do you want to see happen? What is the injustice that you see? For me, I launched this channel and this podcast, Branding Beyond Business, is because I felt tired of the mundane marketing messaging and gurus saying, oh, you're going to get 6 figures within 3 months, 90 days, 30 days, or we'll give you your money back guaranteed, or you don't spend money. For me, I think the chip on my shoulder is going through the creative process and understanding that people abuse, undervalue, overlook creatives, overlook the creativity process. They don't value the creative process. If you're a business owner, you value sales. That's your whole purpose. A business is designed to create money, generate money. If you end up loving what you do, that's also a plus, right? If it's tied to your mission and vision and purpose, that's also a plus. But my beef is really to defend the creative world in the process when it comes to business. That the injustice I see is businesses taking advantage or not bringing value to the creative process, and understanding that it is solely the creative process that's going to allow them to grow their brand, grow their business, grow their company, grow their message. It's going to create a creative process that's going to take boldness to get in front of a camera in public or in private and share your story. So get used to it. Share it always and often. Document the journey. Show your before and after photos. Share the testimonies of your clientele that they're getting so much success from. Share your failures. Share your wins. Share it all. You got to get comfortable. And this is my mission, is to help business owners understand how to use video, how to use audio, and here's the thing. I'm doing this randomly in a random place in public to show you that anybody could do it. You don't need to be a professional videographer. You don't need to go to film school like I went to film school. All right, you don't need to do that. You just need to get brave, be bold, find your fight, and go after it. So this episode, guess I'm talking about finding your fight. What are you willing to fight for? That's my big question. What are you willing to fight for? Are you willing to fight for your marriage? Are you willing to fight for your kids? Are you willing to fight for your business? Are you willing to fight for your customers, clients? What are you willing to fight for? Find it. You got to ask yourself that question. It's been a long time since you asked yourself that question, by the way. It's been a very long time if you ever ask yourself that question. And if you haven't, shame on you. Just kidding. No. If you haven't asked that question, what am I willing to fight for? Shame on you. No. Low key, yes. But because what's the purpose? If there was no fight to fight, if there was nothing to fight for, what is the purpose of your life? To use people and love things? Right? Ooh, that was hard, wasn't it? Let me tell you. You got to get in the fight. If you don't know what you're fighting for, you are going to believe everything. You're going to be convinced of someone else's fight for something when it probably doesn't align with your fight, when you don't know your fight. You're going to be easily swayed. Your curiosity just halts. You got to find your fight. It is the place that brings your soul or sets your soul on fire. And if you haven't found that fight yet, you're already doing better than everybody else because you're listening to this podcast. You're listening to this YouTube video. You're listening to this Spotify playlist. It's actually compelling you to question, what fight am I fighting for? What fight am I getting into? Do I even want to get in a fight? Or do you just want to kick back and make money and call it a day? Believe that the dash between the day that you were born and the day that you die mean nothing? That you're only born to pay taxes, work hard, and retire at 65 and just die and wither away? And let me tell you, I'm not trying to life shame you. But at the end of the day, were we really here to just pay taxes and die? Pay our bills, pay our phone bill, pay our whatever bill, get sick, pay a hospital bill? Is that the reason why we exist? Is that the reason why we're actually here? Maybe for you it is. And if that's okay with you, cool, click off. And be like, that was a good podcast. I'm so motivated. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to inspire you. I'm sorry if I have. I didn't mean it. But I'm telling you, from experience, if you don't get in a fight, fights can come to you and you're not going to be prepared. You're not going to be ready. And if you're not going to get in a fight, anything that comes to you that doesn't look like a fight will sway you and convince you. And then you'll find yourself in a fight and you're going to wake up one day and be like, well, how did I get here? You're going to wake up one day and be like, I didn't want this. I didn't imagine this. I couldn't fathom being in this position. There's many stories that I have that I'll probably share in the future because I want to keep this video short. I want to keep this podcast short. Man, you'll wake up in the middle of your life asking yourself, how did I get here? And the answer will be gradually, because you didn't begin with finding your fight. So my encouragement to you, whether that's you're looking to get a better job, you're looking to get a career, you're looking to get more creative and become an influencer, you're looking to build a business. By the way, if you're going to try to go the influencer route, it is a business, so you need to really get going with your education on how to actually build a business, because influencers deal with money deals with career deals with taxes. So you can't get out of it. Whether you want to do this for a living, like I do with my agency, or you just want to explore and see what you're going to be interested in because you haven't figured out what you want to do in your life. You're probably young and you're trying to figure out, what's my next stage? What's my next season? What do I care about? Do I want to go into, athletics and go pro in something? Do I want to become a content creator and go into marketing? Do I want to become a doctor? Do I want to become a salesperson? Do I want to be a musician? I got musician friends that are listening right now. Shout out. What's up, guys? Love y'all. Thank you for the reviews. What fight are you going to get into? That's my question. And I'm going to leave that question open for you. And I want you, if you're listening up to this part, I want you to drop a comment or a review or ask a question, or even tell me. Maybe you're practicing trying to figure out what fight you're getting into. I will literally comment back to every single comment right now. Right now in this season, I can do that. I can stop and comment you back. So drop a comment below or on this episode. Tell me what fight you're into. What fight are you finding yourself into? What fight are you getting into? Because it's the start. The more you say it, the more you have conversations around what you feel you're involving yourself into, what you feel your life is worth, meaningful effort to pour into. Drop it, because the more you practice that, the more you say it, the more you say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, this is my story. Guess what? You are gonna get in the fight. And if you're not in the fight right now, I guarantee you, when you do get in a fight, you can't stop creating. You can't stop waking up every day and feeling like you're on a mission, that the mission is ongoing. Maybe it's to help people. I hope it's to help people. I got some podcast listeners right now that are fitness trainers. What's up? Shout out to my fitness trainers. Your mission in your fight is to help people defeat the toxicity of unhealthy lifestyle. And if this is helping you right now and you're a fitness trainer, hit me up, because I need some help. I've been trying to hit the gym. Well, hey, leave a comment. If you love this podcast or this style, please leave a comment, share it, subscribe to the channel. It really does help this channel grow. It really does tell the podcast and algorithm gods that you actually enjoy it. So please get involved, engage with this channel, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, share it with somebody that needs to hear it. If you want more of this kind of podcast content or this type of content, please let me know, because what I don't know, I don't know. But if you want to connect, if you want to drop a line, if you want to email me, go to brandingbeyondbusiness.com, subscribe to the newsletter. I'm going to be doing an outreach of having guests on the show. So I'm working on that. I got some guests in mind that I want to bring on this channel to ask questions and share their stories. And if you want to email me at yes@brandingbeyondbusiness.com. Find me on all the social media channels. Just type in John Mediana. You'll see my face with a purple pink background. And let's connect online. I'd love to hear from you. And let me know if you're actually listening to this channel, if this is actually valuable or not. I don't give a crap. This is actually for me. This is for me to dump my brain and just talk about the things I've been waiting to talk about. So thanks so much, y'all. Freaking love y'all. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon.